What we're going to work on in this video is how to translate word problems. Now, the first thing I would do is to copy this list, and what this list has are the synonyms for equal, addition, subtraction, multiply, and division. Okay, now, once you sort of have an idea of what these words mean, let's look at an actual problem. The sum of a number and 2 is the same as the quotient of 20 and 4. Now, what I'd like to do is to make this problem simpler by finding the equal. What the equal does is it simplifies this sentence by allowing us to look at the left side and the right side separately. So if we were to just look at this left side separately, the sum of a number and 2, that's just, well, sum means equal from our list. So x plus 2 is equal to, and now because we finished this side, we can ignore it, the quotient of 20 and 4. And from our list, we know that quotient means division. So we're going to keep the same order. And then we're going to solve this problem. So we have x plus 2 is equal to 20 divided by 5. X plus 2 is equal to, 20 and 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. We can subtract 2 from both sides, and we get x is equal to 3. Okay, let's do the same thing down here. The first thing you want to do is find the equal. So twice the number is equal to 8 added to the same number. So over here, this is my equal. And now I think of this as two pieces. So the first half over here, twice the number, twice is multiply. So this just means 2x is equal to, then over here, right, 8 added to the same number. So we're just going to go 8 plus x. And I can subtract x from both sides. And I get x is equal to 8. Okay, so let's work on something that's slightly harder. Now, whenever we're looking at multiply or divide, multiply or addition, we really don't care about what order you write the two numbers. So, for example, if I were to write 2 plus x, that's the same as x plus 2. Or if I were to look at multiply, 3 times 2, that's equal to 2 times 3. Now, whenever we're doing a division or subtraction, we have to be careful about which number comes first. So if I have something that looks like 8 minus 2, that is not equal to, 2 minus 8. If we reverse the numbers, we'll get something that's completely different. So whenever you have a subtraction or a division, you always want to make sure that you have the order and that you have the right order. Now, the key word to look for is from and than. So over here we have the word from, and over here we have the word than. 8 subtracted from a number is 2. 8 less than a number is 2. Now, whenever you see the word from or than, we're going to reverse the order. So let's look at the difference between these two problems. 8 subtract a number is 2. All right, so 8 subtract a number is 2. We didn't see the word from or than, so we kept the same order. 8 subtracted from a number is 2. So over here, we have the equal, right? Splits the complexity in half. Now let's look at this side. 8 subtracted from a number. Here's 8 and here's x. Now, because we have the word from, we're going to flip the x and the 8. And you can see that these will give me different answers. So this over here is subtract to 8, minus x is equal to minus 6, x is equal to 6. Over here we have plus 8 plus 8, x is equal to 10. So you can see that if you get the order incorrect, you'll get the wrong answer. Now, this is how than is used. If we have 8 less a number is 2, there is no word than or from, so we keep this same order. Right there, that right there. Then over here, because we have the than, we're going to reverse the order. The x will come first, and then the 8 will come second. So if we have something like this, the difference of 8 and a number is 2, do we keep the same order or do we reverse the order? Well, I don't see the word from or than, so what I'll do is I will keep the same order because there's no from or than. In these problems, we have a little bit more complexity because we have 2 operators on one side. So if we're to look at these 3 different problems, 4 times a number added to 2. The comma gives me a pause versus 4 times a number added to 2. The pause tells me what's supposed to happen first. So over here I say 4 times a number. So over here we do this first. Right? Over here we say 4 times a number added to 2. Over here, because of the comma, this is what's grouped together. So when we say 4 times a number, pause, what we're saying is do this first. When we say 4 times, pause, a number added to 2, this is what we're doing first. Okay? See, it's impossible to do this first because this is just 4 times. 4 times what? Over here, this is impossible to do first because it just says added to 2. What are you adding to 2? Over here, we have a complete little expression. 4 times a number added to 2. Okay. Now, once we do this 4 times a number, we can then do the rest of it. Added to 2 is 10. And over here, after we figured out a number added to 2, what are we going to do to it? We're going to 4 times it. This is going to be equal to 10. So when we solve this problem, we'll have 4x plus 2 is equal to 10. We don't need the parentheses, so we'll subtract a 2, subtract a 2. We'll get 4x is equal to 8, and then x is equal to 2. Over here, what will happen is we'll distribute 4x plus 8 is equal to 10. We'll subtract 8 from both sides, and then we'll get 4x is equal to 2. We'll divide both sides by 4, and we'll get x is equal to 1/2. Okay, now, the problem comes when there's no comma to help you to know which to group. So over here I have the same sentence. 4 times a number added to 2 is 10. And we could see that how we read it would make this one correct or this one correct. But we know on our test there's only one correct answer. What usually works, and this is a heuristic, it works 98% of the time unless the teacher is really trying to use some English gymnastics. What usually works is to read the sentence backwards. Do the first operator that you hit. So if I go back over here, I see times and I see added. So I have a multiply over here and I have an addition over here. And if we go backwards, we hit the addition first. So what we'll first do is x plus 2. Why? Because reading this backwards, that's what we got to first. And then what we'll do is 4 times is equal to 10. So if there's no commas, from the equal sign, go backwards and do that operator first. Okay, so let's try that a few more times. Let's first find the equal. Okay, now when we go backwards, all right, we're going to read it this way. So we're going to go backwards until we see our operators. Over here we have a plus, and over here we have a times. Okay, so since the plus comes first, that's what we're doing first. The sum of a number and 6. So we're going to add a number and 6 together. And then after we do that, we're going to do 2 times it. So we have 2 times x plus 6 is equal to 8. 2x plus 12 is equal to 8. We're going to subtract 12 from both sides. We'll get 2x is equal to minus 4. Divide both sides by 2. We'll get x is equal to negative 2. Now, let's do the same thing here again. We have equal to 8. And then let's read this backwards. And let's look for our operators. So when I go backwards, I see times. And then I see plus. So what I want to do is the times first. So we're going to look at this and this. 2 times a number. This is what I'm doing first. Okay. What am I doing to 2 times the number? I'm going to add it to 6. So I'm going to add 6. We'll get rid of that. So I have 2x plus 6 is equal to 8. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. 2x is equal to 2. Divide. Okay. So the difference between this problem and this problem, this one has a 2x and a 6. This one has a 2x and a 6. Is that the way this one is written, the sum comes after the times. So that's why we do the sum first. Over here, the times comes after the sum. We do the last thing first. So this is what we do first, and then we do this. Okay. Now, I gave you a few questions here that sort of have an amalgamation of all the different tricks that we can use. So go ahead and let's try doing this one. The difference of twice the number and 4 is equal to 3 times the sum of the same number and 10. So the first thing I'm looking to do is I'm going to look for the equal sign. And that divides my complexity in half. I'm now going to do this side, the left side, and I'm not going to worry about the right side at all. It doesn't even exist. Okay. Now, when I go backwards, I want to look for my operators. 4 and a number a twice. Okay, I know what that is. Twice is times. And then I have difference, subtraction. So the first thing I want to do is I want to do twice a number, this right here. That's what I'm doing. This is what we're doing first. And then after I do twice a number, I'm going to do difference, which is subtraction. Now, be careful when it's subtraction, the order matters. So the first thing I'm doing is this twice a number. And then what I'm doing is minus 4. You have to keep the same order because we don't see the word from or than. Now on this side, right, we can now ignore this side. It's done. So now we're just worried about this over here. So we're going to go and read this backwards and look for the operator. All right, we have 10 and number same, the of sum. This means plus. The times. This means times. Okay, so we're doing the sum first. So the question is, what am I summing? I am the sum of the same number and 10. Okay, so I have x plus 10. That's the first thing I'm doing. After I finish that, what's left is 3 times. So let's solve this problem. I have 2x minus 4 is equal 3 times x plus 10. So I have 2x minus 4 is equal to 3x plus 30. Let's isolate the x. So we're going to subtract 2x, subtract 2x, subtract 30, subtract 30. And I get minus 34 is equal to x. And if you're anal, we'll put the x on the left side, but I personally don't care. Okay, let's do the same thing down here. 9 subtracted from 3 times a number is equal to the sum of 3, 4, and 5. So the first thing we want to do is find the equal. And that allows us to cut the complexity into half. Now, what I want to do is hide that side. All I'm cared about is this side over here. So when I go from, when I read from the right, I want to look for what operators I see. Number A times, I know times is multiply. And then from subtracted is, right. So what I want to do is I want to do times first because it's what comes last. So when I look at this little snippet, I see 3 times a number. What do I do to 3 times the number? I have to subtract it from 9. Now remember, because this is a subtraction, we have to be really careful about the order. I have 9 here and I have 3 times here. But the key thing here is the word from. This tells me I have to reverse my order. Meaning that this 3 times the number comes first, and then we subtract 9. Okay, so we have 3x minus 9 is equal to, and then we're going to sum 3, 4, 5. 3 plus 4 plus 5. So now I have 3x minus 9 is equal to 7 plus 5 is 12. Then I'm going to add 9 to both sides. 3x is equal to 21. X is equal to 7. Now, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe it so other people can find it. Thank you.